Good morning, good evening, wherever you are across the nation and around the world. This is Deja Brew, and we are waking you up to truth one sip at a time. And today on Beyond the Veil, we have all remote viewed 2026. And I can't wait to get into this because there is so much to unpack and discover and uncover. And Jennifer has been gracious enough to volunteer to go first. So I'm going to let you do yours first. Jen, take it away.
Alrighty. So I did a meditation last night, staring into a candle flame with all my little crystals. And I asked, what do I need to know about Earth 2026? And I heard a purge, natural disasters, earthquakes, specifically Japan. I saw two scenarios. One where the earthquake just totally destroyed everything, and then another scenario where it didn't. And then I saw light bodies, which I'm just guessing that's the volunteers, the star seeds, light workers, us, and we can soften the blow to this earthquake. Then I saw a power grid power grid blackout or something like that in Russia. I saw it as the start of rolling blackouts across the globe. Then I saw like literally just a big light switch that was being flipped. I also saw a bunch of lights in the sky all over the place. ETs showing themselves to individual people way more than they have been lately, because we all know they've been doing that lately. Like, even in my own personal group of friends, people are seeing things. But it's about to amp up. And then the last thing I saw was a bunch of different type of people marching down Golden Gate Bridge carrying American flags. And when I say a bunch of people, it was like every group of people. Like you had bikers, you had LGBT, you had every religion, and they were all celebrating something carrying the American flags. So there we go.
Holy shit balls, dude. That's all I got to say about that right now. I got to keep my
Okay.
trap shut till it's my turn.
Okay.
Oh my God. Like, oh my God. You don't even know. Like, I don't even know if y'all noticed Missy's face, but she looked at me because she knows that you actually hit right on a big point of something I picked up on. You got goosebumps?
And goosebumps bad.
Okay, Angela, I'm gonna let you go next, and then David, and then Missy, Becky, and then of course I'll go last.
Okay, so before I start, I had to say that all my writings are all over the place. I'm gonna go by the way how I read it here in my book. So I saw volcanoes. Um, some of them they hasn't been active for probably more than 100 years or never been active. I also saw a new ones just popping out just because they never haven't done that yet. I also saw cracks in the ground in many countries. One of them is Africa, exposing things that hasn't been discovered yet. Land movements, earthquakes. Some earthquakes are going to expose buried pyramids and other things that probably are going to rewrite human history.
Go, go ahead. I'm
Shut up.
sorry. Go ahead.
That's why you've been so quiet
Worse.
to me, lady.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Fiji Islands. Two of them are going to be submerged in water for good.
Wow.
Um, Greenland. In Greenland, I see that some movement in the land, or I don't know if it will be a tsunami, but something is going to expose a pyramid that is under. And that's also come out with something new for humanity.
Oh, can I pause you right there?
Yeah.
Because I literally just heard yesterday that there is something through a whistleblower from the government.
Sure.
There is something that is thawing out beneath the ice in Greenland that's too big to move and bring it here.
What?
I swear to God.
Yeah.
Shit.
I saw it too.
Yep.
Okay. Ooh, that gave me chills. Because since I started doing this for this particular one exactly, I don't watch anything. I don't read anything because I'm trying to keep growing.
Yes.
Okay? Okay. So let me keep going because I have more here. A lots of movement for Greenland. And I do have to add here that way before Kelly chose 2026, weeks and weeks ago, I saw a tsunami over Greenland, and I thought, Greenland and tsunami, that's not gonna happen. I never say anything, I never put out any video, and then they happening. I don't know what happened, but anyway. August 12th is solar eclipse. It will activate some energy on top of one big pyramid. I don't know if it is the Pyramid of Giza, but at the same time, some dark forces, they're gonna try to put it down, not let that come out. It's not gonna work. It had to come out. It will come out. Period. Ukraine. The rest of the winters, this winter is gonna be blanketed by ice completely. Unfortunately, massive blackouts for that particular country because of the extreme weather, and it's gonna be historic. That's for this winter. Huge explosions everywhere. I don't know what type exactly, but huge explosions all around the world. Something about White House and a lot of protest in front of the White House. And it's not only in front of the White House, I also saw protests US. Tall buildings falling down. But when I saw the tall buildings falling down, I also get the message that people needs to learn how to reconnect with the land by being connected to the ground. This one was wild. TikTok, US building with a lot of police with guns outside of the building. That was only US. Again, the massive blackouts in a lot of countries, lots in Europe and in America. And the reason behind it is humanity needs to pause to reconnect and realize what is truly important and what is not. Because the blackouts are going to force people to connect with each other, to find another ways to grow food or to understand where the food actually truly coming from. And then I saw military planes in many places, military planes. And I also saw a new form of transportation being used by the military that nobody see it before. I couldn't describe it fully. I saw a little bit, but it doesn't look like a plane. It's something different. I don't know. New animals keep appearing. Some big, some smaller. Animals that they people thought they were extinct, and all of a sudden they appear. Some others gonna be really big animals just showing up. Animals are going to start behaving differently to warn people about natural disasters and for people to learn how to connect with the animals and the signs that they give to us again. So it's like a reconnection point for us. And then many different technologies to help humanity in all aspects will start to come out this year. It involves health. It also gonna help with crops, how we grow our food, but every single one of those technologies, also how to build houses, and also new discoveries about plants that cure diseases coming out. And that is gonna cause people to find more happiness. But all of these that I saw is gonna be made in a way that it doesn't harm our bodies, and we all know about what I'm talking about. It's not gonna be like a chemical or anything like that. No, and those technologies are already made. They just not out yet. Okay, I gotta add one more thing in discovery before I enter to this thing here. Africa in the spotlight, many new inventions coming from Africa through this year and the next year. Many helping the environment and health. But the thing is, when I saw that, I saw many white tall beans behind the scenes helping them out. And the same white beans I saw in many other things that I saw, good for humanity, they're always there with the people, always there. And it's very bright white tall beans. So from now to October, now let's talk about disclosure. First, I saw the Pope kneeling in prayers at the Vatican, at the Basilica of St. Peter, asking for strength because he needs to release some files. And I saw the files. The files are not new. They are being written by a typewriter. And then a couple days after, I saw him again talking to these white light beings again, and other people involved into this disclosure. They're just waiting for the right moment. And on top of that, I saw this kind of angelic energy behind him, which is pushing him gently to release what he had to say about disclosure. Then I saw Spain, disasters involving water, ocean, and waves floating. Trump is planning more stuff for around the world. But at some point, I saw him walking out of something. He walked out of something. He just turned his back and says, I'm not going to deal with this. He was pretty much upset. I don't know what that was. Putin is sick. It's not going to come out right now at this moment, but he is sick, and it's going to be a turning point for Russia. A new woman being, Missy, you're laughing. Yeah. A new woman being elected. This woman is not rich. This woman is a normal person who's gonna be for the people. She's not involved in politics. No, she's gonna be new for the people. And yesterday I saw another one that is gonna step up in another country, not the same one as this one. I don't know where that's gonna happen, but I see that coming for this year. Massive problems with planes. And again, I keep seeing Germany. Germany is going to have a big disaster that it involved a mountain. Many souls leaving Earth. Some of them, they're going to be leaving because they don't want to be here. But some others, they're leaving because they want to help humanity throughout this transition. Don't understand much about that. So going back to Greenland, there's something underneath, and it's a lot of transportation getting there, like from air, water, whatever, a lot of transportation going there. And it's like, it's becoming, and it's gonna be a point of interest for humanity for many things. I also saw a star shining around that area, but the star looks like same star is gonna keep repeating showing up. I don't know if you guys understand what I mean. Humanity and dreams. Big, huge dreams for humanity for some reason. It just recently started. People need to start finding why. And from those dreams, this is kind of weird. Many people are going to be getting downloads of information to create new inventions, new stuff that is going to help humanity because that's why they're here on Earth. That was kind of fun to watch. But yeah, and it's gonna be so strong for people that people is not gonna have any other option to let me write this down, let me find out how I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna change kind of their life like quickly because they have to put their hands in doing that. That's gonna become their passion because that's what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah, kids. As soon as they can talk, they're going to either awaken the parents and refuse to follow systems, and that's what they're supposed to do. It's gonna be very challenging for parents because the kids are gonna talk like not the way how we are used to. I mean, not many people are used to. Okay. But there is beautiful times coming ahead of all of this craziness. Suddenly changes in humanity and how we ate. More connections to help each other after disasters, but also it's a tipping point for humanity for change. Humanity is gonna be divided by everyone own decision because some people they're not going to be happy with all the new stuff, so they're gonna kind of get into not a happy time, whatever. And some of them overnight they're gonna say, okay, I need to change my life. This is it. Like I'm not gonna keep going this way. And let me see what else in here. Oh, okay. Churches exposed. Some of them being burned down. Sorry. And the last one was I keep seeing this bug, which looks like a beetle, but he was going for crops. But he's a luminescent beetle. And it shines like in a gold color, but he was going to eat crops. And that was it.
Okay, wow. Missy, I'm going to let you go ahead and go.
Gonna let me go?
Yeah, and then David, and then Becky.
Okay. So I see a lot of chaos, but I also see a lot of good things. So it's gonna be like it's gonna go back and forth. Um, I see major earth changes on the west coast, um, like an 8 to 9 earthquake, a mega quake. It's gonna cause a tsunami, like 90 to 100 feet tsunami, and it's gonna affect Japan, Taiwan, and Indonesia. And I think you said Japan there, Angela.
Well, I mentioned I see it in many places.
Mm-hmm. And then I also have that something happens to Putin and they get a new leader.
Oh.
So again, Angela, that hit right at home with me as well. I seen I didn't even know what this word was. I had to ask Kelly what it meant, because I was in between words, because it can mean different things. But I seen a polar transition, and I got that it was melting and thawing, and there was some major earth changes in that as well. Um, I don't exactly remember, but it's basically a pole flip.
A pole shift. It's a pole shift.
But I didn't see no devastation or anything like that. It just it just told me that it was going to happen. But a pole shift's a pretty big thing. I also got that King Charles, something's going to happen to him.
Mhm.
He's either going to get sick, pass, something. I'm not sure. And when he does, there's going to be a lot of buried secrets revealed. I got notes like everywhere. um, Something's going to happen in the world. Something like 9/11, not a terroristic thing, but something so big that it's going to bring the world together. Like, we're all going to come, humanity is going to come together. It's going to be beautiful. We're going to be helping each other and taking care of each other. Um, I kept seeing, like, when 9/11 happened, I kept seeing this little girl that I'd heard once. She was like, "Look, mommy, we're all the same." And so it's just going to unify us. It's going to unify the whole world. Um, in the middle of the year, I seen that it said world map changes, and it said border shifting in Ukraine and Gaza, Ukraine and Gaza. In March and April, I had that there's solar storms. They're going to cause uh, technology difficulties, lights, cameras, phones, all electronic stuff. So I'm taking it maybe like a grid outage.
Lights, camera, action.
Um, in mid late November, I have that truth's going to be revealed on high profile figures. They will be outed on the things that they've done. Um, we're going to know for sure that there are extraterrestrials. They're going to they're going to come in the sky. They're not actually going to make contact till 2027. They're not actually going to be physically contacted people, but their ships are going to be in our sky, and they're going to sit there for days to make sure everybody knows that they are real. There will be no doubt. Um, and then got that one. Um, I also, my very first hit was actually I seen the St. Louis Arch. Um,
What's up
I
with
thought
that?
maybe a possible terrorist attack, but I actually think it's more of a natural disaster. But so pay attention this year, but I
Oh.
see the arch leaning towards the Mississippi River, like it's just like leaning. Um, and then some good things that are going to happen. We have breakthrough in a lot of cancer and medical technologies. They're going to be able to detect cancer quicker and be able to treat it a lot more prominently, like better survival rates. So medical breakthroughs. And then my last thing I got was, so all of our shows have been about Atlantis, and I got that Atlantis Rising isn't exactly what you think it is. It's not necessarily a city rising. Atlanta is us, the people, and we are already transitioning and rising up to the surface. Great awakening, as Kelly always says. We are who we've been waiting for.
Mm.
So that's what I have, and I got goosey bumps.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, David, you're up.
Unmute here. All right. I'll start with the mundane and then get to the good part.
Okay.
The overall is what has been hidden will be revealed. In 2025, I was confused as to why so many officially documented facts were disregarded. Facts showed that people in power clearly acted to maintain their power and failed to act in a lawful manner that would benefit all citizens. In my own state, Democrats were successful at blaming Trump for the high inflation over the past 9 months. Democrats, the Democrat running for attorney general was elected even though he had a potential felony charges against him. Uh, the Democrat shutdown on government was blamed on the Republicans by Virginia voters, many of whom work for the government. In 2026, I see a rising awakening of citizens towards justice from the ground up, not top down. This awakening could become violent as people in power who have violated public trust seek to maintain their power. I hope it remains nonviolent as more people learn the truth about the people they voted for. Even my diehard Democrat neighbor thought spending billions of dollars for a daycare that did not exist was not right. And I consider that a major step forward in sanity.
Yes. Amen to that. Finally.
A snarky thought. I feel that Democrats will shut down the government again and they will demand subsidies for the poor to mitigate the high cost of illegal drugs caused by the newly reduced supply. It's just a snarky thought. After mucking around in the California Palisades, Governor Gavin Newsom is buried up to his neck. Yeah, I'm just viewing this. I have this image. He's playing around with everything in California, and he's ended up buried in the soil up to his neck. And there's a sign behind him saying, "Dig me out." This will occur on July 17th or August 17th. Next, a relatively unknown female will become leader of all people to love. She will show how cooperation is much better than competition. She will advocate for the enlightened capitalism like AYN Rand wrote in Atlas Shrugged. In enlightened capitalism, there is minimal government where the people are free to work towards their self-interest while seeking cooperative synergies to attain the greatest good for mankind and all nature. With the rough space weather coming, I see the need to learn old ways and prepare what you can do to ease through disruptions. I felt like we needed at least 1,000 light workers working together to place a protective shield around our planet and maintain it for years to come. Uh, this is a quote from the Book of Thomas, which came in. Do not lie. Do not do what you hate. Don't give alms. Do not pray. Basically, do not give yourself to something outside of you. The Book of Thomas was left out of the Bible.
Yes, it was. It's one of my favorite Gnostic gospels. I speak
Yes.
about the Book of Thomas often on my channel. I love that.
All right. So now I'm new to remote viewing, and I was remote looking out at the universe, looking at the different galaxies and different things, and you try to find a fun place to go. And out of all the planets and suns and everything, there was this one bright object that attracted my attention. And I went over to it to take a closer look. It was a planet type thing, hard to tell, glowing white with white vapors emanating out from it. It was just like, here, look at me. And I go in closer, and then I see a crystal, giant crystals at an angle, uh, just under the clouds. And I sensed that Genesis was occurring there. And I chose not to go in closer because I didn't want to be transformed instantly. But the the this great genesis of this world was occurring. It was just awesome.
Was it Earth?
I couldn't
If
tell.
it you couldn't tell if it was happening to Earth? Okay.
Right. I'm a rookie at this out of body type
Yeah,
stuff.
that's no, that's I think you did great. I just wondered because, Three Eye Atlas has very interesting jets, three jets that come out the back of it that are exactly 120 degrees apart. And they've tested the dust that it is leaving behind in its wake that's now actually reaching Earth. And they said that it has the building blocks in it for life. Yeah.
Wow.
So I wonder if it's not Earth that you were seeing.
Could have been.
It could have been. It really could have been.
Oh.
Just as a side note, I've been finding some interesting things. I've been digging into like Tartarian buildings and stuff lately, and I stumbled across in 1811 and 1812 is when a lot of this stuff got buried by the mud or water or whatever, or burned down. And I started looking to see what was significant about that time. That's also when the New Madrid woke up and the Mississippi ran backwards. Um, there was a comet, what they called a comet, that was visible for 265 days in our
Right.
skies. And I'm like, that's very interesting because Three Eye Atlas has been in our visual alignment now for us to be able to look at through telescopes and stuff since July of last year. And it won't be until March that it's at Jupiter, which will be about the same amount of time. And I'm like, I personally believe that this reset, this regeneration happens a lot more frequently than people think. And it's about every 200 to 250 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So really interesting. I would love for you to try to dig into that a little more when you have some time and see if you couldn't get some more information from that because that's really, really interesting to me. I wonder if it correlates with what's going on here on planet Earth right now. That's pretty cool.
Could very well. And on someone else mentioned Greenland. The United States had a secret base in Greenland. I wonder if that secret base is overheating. It
Right,
might it might be at its end of life.
right. It might be, might just be that the ice is melting enough to show
Right.
something else that's
There was
there.
a base buried deep underground in Greenland.
Oh, wow. Well, that doesn't surprise me. We got deep underground bunkers everywhere, bases and bunkers. Oh my goodness. Well, that was incredible, David. Thank you. Miss
You're
Becky,
welcome.
it is your time to shine.
Okay. Well, like some of the others, I have been getting some of these messages like since last fall or before. The first one is about Greece. Greece is most definitely one of the Atlantean sites on this planet. As we know, there's several of these, not just one. And the
Right.
area known as the Parthenon is buried
Mm.
below a crystalline stargate. It might appear white in color, but I was assured that it is indeed crystalline. There are pyramids
Ooh.
and cities underwater surrounding Greece, and the word base was stated. No further explanation was given. Buried past cities and artifacts everywhere underground. Massive energies are associated with Greece, and it will be revealing more so as time goes on, starting now in this 2026 year. At this point, I was shown a part of the ocean with an island in the center of it. I asked about it and was told 78.7 degrees north, 93.4 degrees west. I Googled only the coordinates just to see if it was a real place, and yes, it was. All I know is quote unquote hidden and quote unquote unknown.
Becky, can I have you pause right there so I can show you what I found?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God, you're gonna flip out. Remember I told you you're gonna be so surprised?
Yeah.
Okay, so first let me just show some pictures that I have, some screenshots. All right, let me know when that's on the screen where everybody can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So these coordinates are a piece of forest, actually, that used to exist called Axel Heiberg Island. It has ancient history. Ancient history centers on its remarkable 45 million year old mummified fossil forests, a remnant of a lush Eocene era rainforest buried by sediment and preserved by permafrost, revealing species like dawn redwoods and walnuts in a surprisingly warm, albeit dark wintered, ancient Arctic, providing key paleoclimate insight. A helicopter is actually what noticed it.
Well,
And hold on, there's more. um, this forest is mummified, not petrified. Unlike your typical fossils, these tree stumps and logs retained their organic matter able to be burned because rapid burial in fine silt prevented mineral replacement or petrification. They're claiming 45 million years ago is when this happened during the Eocene epoch, but I disagree. The Arctic was much warmer, supporting a temperate rainforest similar to. Come on. Okay, so it's not the one that completes that comment, maybe. Um, Catastrophic burial is what happened there. A massive flood event is what buried the forest quickly under layers of silt. And besides the stumps and trees, scientists found leaves, seeds, and cones, offering a detailed look at the ancient ecosystem, including evidence of animals like alligators. Okay, which is crazy. Totally crazy. And let me just go back to this one. This is the other place for those coordinates because there were actually two islands that sunk. And the second island is notorious for the Dorset and the Thule people, the Thule culture.
Right.
The Dorset culture and later the ancestors of modern Inuits moved
Yeah.
into the Canadian Arctic, but significant archaeological sites indicating ancient settlements on Amund Ringness itself are not prominent in general history. This is a Norwegian discovery. The island was discovered in 1900 by a Norwegian named Otto Sverdrup and his expedition, and he's the one that named it. So this is actually that's what was so cool about this for me, Becky, because you got coordinates and you also got the message that this was something to do with a piece of land, an island that was in the water. And I just think that's phenomenal that you got that. And for God's sakes, I hope you start trusting every damn thing that comes to you because this was amazing to get coordinates. Absolutely amazing. I'm like, Angela's gonna freak out because her husband got coordinates, but he didn't get the cardinal sign part.
Well, but the words hidden and unknown, then by what you just said, kind of play into it as well, don't they?
Yeah, yeah, because it just a flood took it under. It sank like Atlantis. Phew, gone.
Mhm.
Yeah. So by all means, carry on. I
Okay.
wanted to give you
Thank
extra
you,
props
Kelly.
there.
Thank you, Kelly. That's more research I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
Now on the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon will be revealing more and more of what it truly is. This will continue throughout 2026 and beyond. Massive discoveries, and if I can read my, I'm not sure. Re, not relocation, oh, revelations throughout. And Egyptian definitely is part of it.
Yeah.
They were acting like that's not all of it, like it was Egyptian and possibly. So I just have to fly with that. On energy. And this is another one that has been after me, after me, after me. Plasma. Plasma will rise, showing itself as an important, safe, and clean energy source. Plasma in its pure form, not associated with the human construct nuclear connections, as well as Tesla's teachings regarding electricity as they were meant to be. Humanity's understanding and utilization of our own energies are skyrocketing and will continue to do so. But they keep pushing the plasma thing. And of course, I have to say that in certain civilizations of ETs, plasma is one of the three things they use to um, navigate their craft.
Yeah.
I know that personally from an encounter that I had. So that's not something that I just heard. That was one thing I did experience and understand. So, if they did it, I'm sure others do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
They tap into solar power.
And Mother Earth, which under I keep they say Gaia, they don't say, but as we know, she is energy and a living entity, as are all the other planets, etc. Her cosmic and DNA rebalance and healing, ascending, evolving is what we witness today and will continue to do so. Humanity has not been kind in the pollution, weather manipulations, bombs, wars, etc. She is working in her timeline despite this and no turning back. She is not, I repeat, not, quote unquote, too far gone or quote unquote a lost cause. Those that report or state this are incorrect. Lightworkers, starseeds, hybrids, contactees, experiencers, etc., have come here at this time to assist, heal, support, etc., humanity and Mother Earth. Words, thoughts, actions, intents are powerful in our energies. To fearmonger or profess any negativity, as far as I'm personally concerned, will be met with reinforced light, love, positivity to counteract such. I am one of those who stand by this, my truth. And that's part of my mission here. So when I see it and hear it, I will work diligently to counteract it.
Yes.
So that's just me. And on
Transmute that
disclosure,
energy.
on disclosure is the contact between extraterrestrials, interdimensional entities, and their crafts. It is already here. mainly through experiencers and contactees, as well as, you hear of the pilots, scientists, researchers, etc. Unfortunately, and this is one thing they really, some of the true encounters and experiences have been distorted with diversions and tactics. At this point in time, certain factions that perpetrate this will not be in control of the narrative as we go on in this year and beyond. And most ETs are benevolent, but as we know, not all are. The truth is here, and this will continue. I have just one more thing. On crop circles, as always, there will be new crop circles. They are not all men with boards and rope. They are important messages and reminders to us. This, to me, is proven in the studies where the known human ones done versus the more than likely off-world generated, is where it is shown the stalks are not damaged, but woven, unbroken, twisted together, as well as certain energies found in the non-human generated. Also, there are reports on when the farmer mows the crops, a shadow impression is still seen on and in the ground. I was shown last fall an upcoming crop circle that has to do with humanity, which is positive. It wouldn't leave me alone for days until I finally sat down and drew it, which I drew it, dated it. All I can say is we will see. Thank you. That's it.
Love it.
I got something I need to add because it just came to me. Becky, when you mentioned crop circles, I heard there are crop circles in the sky. All the different patterns and stuff that we see are actually crop circles. Like, it just came to me. So I wanted to make sure you all knew that.
I believe that.
Okay, Missy, may I question that a little bit and ask you, do you mean that the patterns that we're seeing are just like what the crop circles are and it's an energetic thing? Because there's not actual crop circles in the sky. So I'm just trying to clarify for people.
It's the designs, like the holes that we see in the sky, the waves. It's an energetic, but it's just like the crop circles, that they're actually showing them in the sky now versus on the ground.
But
Right. Okay. Because there have been like these weird, like I have said before when we watch Mr. MBB and he shows the sky pictures, and I'm like, that looks just like scalar waves, or that looks just like the Schumann resonance does, or so that's why I want to ask. And I'm sorry, Becky, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I was agreeing with you and Missy, their messages. So whether they're in the ground, whether they're in the sky, they're messages. That's my truth anyway.
Yeah, I believe that too, because I think it's an energetic information package.
Exactly.
Right? Like the one that we created in class.
Yeah.
In class, me and my students created a crop circle somewhere.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Okay. So that was really great. All of you did amazing. I was trying to keep track of the notes of all the things that several of us have in common here. So I'll touch on that in a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and go through mine. And mine is in no kind of chronological make sense order, because I'm a mad scientist when I write things down. I'm like, it's all over the place, and that's just how I'm going to go with it. So I want to begin with saying that in 2004, I had this huge vision while I sat on the beach at Myrtle Beach of all of the cataclysm, all of the destruction, all of the screams, the cries, the panic, the fear, all of it. I saw it, I felt it, like I was in it. And I was like, oh God, what is this? Right? It was like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome kind of destruction. And then I heard the voice say, that's one path, right? And I've talked about this before, how we had two paths because we're coming down to two timelines that we get to choose which timeline we're going to be on for our reality. Are we going to be on the one that that creates fear and we stick with the old stuff and then we have the destruction to wipe out and reset, or do we choose the better path with less destruction and less issues of moving forward because we're evolving within ourselves? That happened in 2004. I haven't had a vision like that since then until I was focused on 2026. And I don't say that to scare anyone. I say that because this is actually a game changer. The destruction, the amount of destruction that could have been, will not be, because we have leveled up enough that we don't have to go down that path. But with that being said, there is going to be a magnetic pole shift. There is going to be some type of destruction on some levels in some areas. It's not worldwide, but I got very specific places, as some of you did, for us to watch out for. Some of mine are similar to the things you all have, and some of them are completely different. So I'm going to begin with that because that is what I saw first. Um, 3 great earthquakes that will be 7.0 or higher. We can look at Japan, Russia, New Zealand area, maybe, and I have Indonesia for sure. I woke up this morning to learn that Indonesia just had a 6.4, and they don't think it's going to stop there. I see West Coast tsunamis because of Japan and Russia's earthquakes. I see all of the West Coast being really uneasy because of the tsunami. It's going to make this domino effect of other things like the volcano that's under the water there in the ocean near Oregon, and then all of the Yellowstone and all of that is going to start waking up and being more active, and it's going to cause a lot of earthquake movement type things happen in that area. I'm not saying that they're going to be completely underwater. I'm not saying it's going to be completely devastating, but it's going to be hella scary for a lot of people. So I definitely saw that. And then I heard new land, new land, new land rises from the sea in 3 places. So I wonder if Becky's coordinates of an under ocean forest has anything to do with me seeing this. And I believe Angela also saw something rising, a piece of land rising from the ocean, right? And Jen, did you
Yeah,
as well?
yeah.
No.
Okay. I couldn't remember for sure who else saw
It
that,
was
but
me. It was me. But I saw like multiple places, and it keeps
right.
basically haunting me for days because it's like everywhere, like things are just gonna crack open, even though that it had nothing to do with the crack that is already happening in Africa. Because there is a
Right.
crack in Africa. We all know that because it's everywhere in the news. No, it's more than that. It's way more than that.
Yes.
And yeah, yeah.
And I also heard to watch the Great Lakes for movement underneath of the Great Lakes between the US and Canadian border.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
I heard that there will be truths about the moon and the life that exists on it and within our solar system in other places. Then, very strongly, I was warned, and Jennifer mentioned the Golden Gate Bridge, right?
I did.
I got very specifically false flag event, Golden Gate Bridge. I saw 3 BOMBs on the legs of the bridge, a plan that it doesn't happen, but there's a plan in place for this to happen,
Okay.
and that the leaders of California, and this is how bad I am at geography. I didn't even know if the Golden Gate Bridge is in freaking California. I swear to God, I didn't. I did not know where it's at. I had to look it up. Actually, I asked Missy and she confirmed it for me. Um, but I heard that the leader of California will be who plotted this and planned this as a saving grace kind of a thing. I don't know what that means.
Gavin Newsom.
And it's Gavin Newsom that will do it. So it's interesting that David saw Gavin Newsom dig me out of this, and this may be his plot to look good to his people again, because he's angling to run for president.
Yes.
So this may be some kind of a plot he's planning to blow the bridge up and then swoop in and look like the hero of the story when he's actually the one putting it into motion. So that's a big one that I hope this video gets spread far and wide and that the right people hear it, because we have 2 points that specifically picked up on Newsom and 2 points that specifically picked up on the Golden Gate Bridge. And I loudly was told this is a false flag event. This is not going to be from terrorists. It's not going to be from foreigners, but they're going to make it look like it is. But this is an inside job from the California leaders. Okay. I also heard that great change comes with the spring equinox and knowledge will be revealed to the world. There will be great earth movement and great water movement, but we are to remain calm and to focus. And I actually heard while you all were doing your stuff that the focal points should actually be on all of the locations that we see in our remote viewing that could be in danger, and to help give them some extra shielding and healing and protection, like we do, when we hear about a tsunami somewhere or a hurricane coming and that kind of a thing. I heard that religious truths will be revealed and that the Catholic Church will fall. I heard that the U.S. will become the true world superpower and leader to help save humanity and give them the technologies and the things that they need to live proper and well. And that Russia will follow suit. They will be the second superpower, if you will, to help make this happen for the whole world. I also saw planes and satellites falling from the sky. I think this has something to do with that magnetic pole shift. And Missy heard the very technical scientific term for it, of all things, for the transition of the pole shift. And I think that's what will cause this. The Hall of Amente will be shown to the public. The Hall of Records will be known to the public this year. But to beware, I saw this so vividly that I would have swore Missy and I had talked about it, or I read it in a book, or I saw a video or something. It was that real for me to see this part that I'm getting ready to talk about. I was shown underneath of the pyramid, the biggest pyramid in Giza, and in this great big room that almost looks like a basement, except there were other chambers around it. But this one particular room has a wooden cross and some kind of a cloth, and then some other type of a trunk looking thing that are planted there intentionally to lie to the masses, reveal this as our Christ is coming back thing, to try to swerve the Great Awakening and collective Christ consciousness coming back to our earth. So I was told very, very loudly to beware of this, because the halls of records will be revealed as well, but not to fall for this trap of them showing the wooden cross and claiming that it was the cross Jesus was crucified on, because it's not authentic. This is all a lie to try to keep us still in that trap and that enslavement, that dogma. So that's something to really pay attention to if they come out and say, and actually there was a lady standing there telling me this. That's why I would have thought this was like a video I watched or that I was physically somewhere seeing this, because there was a lady, a beautiful lady, standing right next to me showing me all of this and saying, beware of it, that they're going to try to steer the narrative to keep the control with that cross. So don't fall for it. So it was called a false prophet narrative for Fight for the Truth to be revealed. And the churches are involved in this also. The churches are involved. Then I was shown the red and blue Kachina prophecy that it unfolds beginning this spring equinox. From spring forward, we quantum leap forward. Karmic wounds are sealed and healed. Revelations on humanity's true capabilities will be revealed, as well as new medical technologies, industrial applications, the whole 9 yards. Atlantis rises, and I about fell out when Missy told me this because it's so hard for me to keep my mouth shut when I know something. When she talked about her Atlantis part, I was like, she almost verbatim got the same message I got, which shouldn't surprise me because I can literally be sitting in the same room with her and I think something and she'll say it, or she'll think something and I'll say it, and we're like, damn it, get out of my head, you know? But I heard Atlantis rises because, and that we are Atlantis and we are who we've been waiting for, which is what I always say anyway. But now it fits to, it's attached to something, that Atlantis rises and we are Atlantis. Two major volcanoes, both of them four into the US. One is to the east and one is to the west. I'm not good at geography, so I don't know. I know that like two are off the California side. We've got like Japan and Russia, right? So I don't know if they've got like a volcano over there.
There is an underwater volcano rising off the coast of Oregon.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one.
Wow.
I didn't even think about that. I was actually thinking it must be like some kind of land. But you're right. There's that big underwater volcano. Okay. And I don't know what's on the other side of America where there could maybe be a volcano. But it clearly said two major volcanoes will erupt, and they will be on the east and west of the United States. Also, weirdly enough, talking about east to west, people are going to start learning to sleep different, oriented to east and west again. And then I was even given like this weird visual diagram of how if we're sleeping east to west and we turn our head to the top corner of our bed, either direction, it's a 45-degree angle, and that if we lay in a fetus position on our bed in a 45-degree angle, we can astral project easier. I don't even know what the hell that's about. I ain't never heard such a thing, but that's what it was shown to me. So there's that. I heard that there will be many people to leave soon and to be prepared for that. I'm not sure what that means. And that many have already left, either directly or indirectly. Mm-hmm. There will be public arrests, and all of the bad actors will be revealed to the public this year. Ancient structures on the dark side of the moon will be told to the public that belong to our ancient people. We are to go with the flow for the new info. And then I was shown 2012 to 2026 is 13 years, and that Jesus had 12 disciples plus him is 13. And we've got the baker's dozen, and I was shown all these different examples of 13. Okay. And that there will be 13 sacred alignments this year. And every one of them is like a big event that'll happen, a big revelation, a big event to move us forward throughout the year. I heard revelations, rebuilding, revival, reviving the true you, renewed health, renewed prosperity, collective consciousness, collective Christ consciousness, And then again, the Vatican falls, but we are the saving grace. Aliens will be known to the public, most of which will look like us. And then for whatever reason, I was shown Venus, and that Venus is 7, and the Pleiadians are also a 7. I'm not sure what that means unless the people on Venus are Pleiadian. I don't know. An Aquarian, this is what I heard, an Aquarian Stargate will be activated, and then a 13 again, and that the star is the gate, and it will be because of some kind of an alignment. And then I heard the red and blue Kachina alignment will be with the head of the Sphinx this spring. And the Sphinx prophecy will be foretold. I don't know of a Sphinx prophecy to be foretold. But then I was shown the ruby again. And I kid you not, I was binge watching Chris Bledsoe the other night looking for something specific. Well, I'll tell you what I was looking for. He said that they put him in the Vatican in between two certain people in their archives, and I was trying to figure out who the two certain people were, to figure out why they would put him in their archives. And it was Copernicus and Galileo that they put him in between. But I was binge watching some of his interviews trying to find that. And I happened across a video where he's mentioning his star alignment thing that he thinks is going to happen in April this year for the Sphinx. And he says, Robert Grant, I think is who he said. It was either Robert Grant or Graham Hancock. I can't remember now. Anyway, he said that one of them told him, oh, that alignment is when we put the ruby in between the paws of the Sphinx. And I'm like, hold on, what? Because remember, just like last week or week before, I had something come to me about Merlin's red ruby will be found in the Bermuda Triangle, and that it belongs between the paws of the Sphinx for some kind of activation. And so it's really weird that I just now suddenly found this video where Chris Bledsoe actually mentioned that. And, Chris and I have a lot of our visions and our experiences in alignment with each other. So really, really interesting stuff there. So somewhere in March or April, this will happen, but there will also be something in November, some kind of big event that'll happen in November. And then we will have huge adjustments of change for the next 10 years, 2026 to 2036. This is going to be a lot of growing pains kind of adjustments because we've got a lot of new stuff coming out, but we all have to kind of get acclimated and get used to the idea. Much like Angela said, some people are not going to want to have it. They're not going to be happy about it. They're not going to want to get rid of the old and try something new. So it's going to take about 10 years for society to fully integrate into all of this. But I did hear a reset and a regeneration from the catastrophes, and that the catastrophes, as on a larger scale, were averted because of our inner work and our growing. We're also going to learn this year not only that time space can be manipulated and that thought creates, but we're going to actually start learning ourselves how to manipulate time and space. And then I saw 369, frequency, vibration, creation. And then I heard a very strong message that we will all learn this, and we will learn time travel has been being used, and it will explain our Mandela effect. New science, new medical, new rules, new knowledge, new beliefs, new paradigm shift in time. The simulation ends. It's time to create. Some will burn, some will drown in their lies, some will be removed, but all will be dealt with, for this is Judgment Day. yet also a day of thanksgiving and celebration. For all will be free of the old guard, and the lies that held you down and held you back will be removed. That this is the era of the Aquarian Golden Age, where the meek shall once again inherit and reclaim their birthright in the earth. Be good stewards, be good stewards. What's above is so below. Um, be a good steward of the self and the self knowledge and the self wisdom, so that then you can put that outwardly. So we are the above, right? To know ourself, we are the above, and then everything we go forth in the world and do is the below part of it. Okay, and so that's what I got. But I want to add to this before I cover things that we have in common and let you all speak again. Several of you really had issues with this one. You really felt the pressure, you felt the limitations of this. And I'm just going to call you out because I love you and not in a painful way. But Becky, who was once simply one of our audience members, she was a viewer, became my friend, and was brave enough to begin doing this show with us. She's not used to how we are doing this, and it really, really rattled her to do this show. So I want to tell her and all of you how proud I am of her sticking with this and breathing through it and trusting those coordinates and everything else that she was given, because she did fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kelly.
So, great job, Becky. You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Kelly.
And Jen, too, felt really uneasy and anxious about this one and expressed that to me. Really weirded out and nervous, trying to overthink it because she's a Virgo. And she was trying to put her analytical mind into it and tell it that this can't be. So, again, Jennifer, I want to say how proud I am of you for trusting it and breathing through it and going with it. Really, really well done. Like, I'm going to try not to get emotional, but y'all don't know how proud I am. It's like I'm your mom. I'm so proud. Angela, too, even though she didn't freak out as much as the other ladies did.
I
she
did,
did
but I
she
tamed
did
it down.
share with me that she felt the pressure of this one and that she was overthinking it with logic because it didn't make sense.
Mhm.
And I'm just so proud of you for working through it and trusting that, even though it didn't fit and it didn't make sense.
No, it
Right?
didn't.
So proud of you. And Missy too. I'm just going to call her out. I live with her. She might hurt me. But I mean, she was freaking out pretty bad over this one. She was like, "Oh my god, I'm seeing this and I'm seeing that and I know I'm not supposed to share, but how am I supposed to get through this?" And blah, 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 blah. Like she was really stressed. And I'm like, "Just breathe. Just write it down. Just trust it. It's going to be okay. I promise you what you've got is like so in line with things I've already gotten already, you're going to be mind blown." And I really, really, really hope that all of you are proud of yourselves and mind blown at how amazingly cool it is that we can come from these 5 different points of light and then come
Yes.
together and have so many things that we saw in common. I mean, David included in this. He's our newest guy here,
Mhm.
and I'm so proud. I'm so proud because I just kind of threw him in it and I didn't even, I mean, he really had to wing it. I didn't even give him directions or nothing. He just wings it. And I'm so proud.
My internet connection's getting unstable again. Along with what you said about the Sphinx, I don't know if you can see it, but the guy in the center, Achman, was going to give my wife Jean a special tour of the secret chambers in the Sphinx below the paws.
Oh,
And he was accidentally run over 3 times by a vehicle. They ran him over once, they ran him over again, and they ran him over a third time, and he wasn't not living to show her the secret
Oh,
area under the Sphinx.
oh my God.
wow.
Yeah, whatever's there is truly important. And we're going to
Yep,
see it here. Well, God rest his soul. His efforts were not in vain. That truth is coming out this year.
yep,
That's amazing. Your stories never cease to amaze me, David. Your wife was an incredible woman.
she was.
Um, so I just want to say that I'm really proud of all of you for just putting it down on paper, trusting it, writing what you see and feel and hear and sense, and fully experiencing, because I know sometimes you are fully experiencing the trauma or the joy of what you see. And I appreciate you putting yourself in that position. I appreciate that effort that all of you put into doing this show and showing the world that we really can all do this. And knowing that you're safe, trusting that information, not trying to make it fit or make sense of it. Just leave it raw and real, because that raw, real data, that's what we want to be true and transparent in showing everyone that they can do this. So I'm really, really proud of all of you. And I just want to speak to the audience and say that when you do start to do this with us and you start to practice, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to make mistakes, because that's actually a good learning tool for you to gauge for the next time you do it. What did I do or think or not do or think that got that wrong? Because usually it's because our logical mind has stepped into it somewhere and muddied it. And when we let that
Right.
logical mind come in, then we're going to get mistakes. So it's a good learning tool, and it's okay to be wrong. Never ever consider it failure. Always consider it a lesson to be better. Celebrate all that we can do together. Celebrate all that we can do alone, because we truly are magnificent, divine beings. And this is the year that we really start to learn that and use it. And I'm going to give you all the floor to speak and tell your opinions and feelings on how you think all of this went for you. How do you feel about it? Becky, we'll start with you.
Okay. If it's all right, I just need to add one more thing. I rewrote my notes 3 different times over several days, different colored ink, different directions, etc. So I had to get it in a more of a uniform so that I could read it and not sound like I was out of my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
Well,
that's
you know
okay.
what I'm saying, on task. One of
Sure.
the things that was a gentle reminder was, and you brought up the Bermuda Triangle, and they were like nudging me, like, okay, okay, is that, like the Bermuda Triangle, which in a past group that you had that was discussed as Atlantean ties, etc., and then the new ones, and other times that has been discussed, which obviously more than one, not just one little round circle somewhere. It's many places. And then to add into the different anomalies under the ocean and the ground, etc. Some that have not been found, or some that they don't know what to do with. They're never totally deactivated. They may not be totally
Right.
activated, but what it is, for lack of a better term, the motor's still running.
Right.
It's not on full gear, and that's why we see the different things going on with it. Like, well, one time it's this, they look at it and they can't figure it out, is because it's still active. It's just not totally turned on, for lack of a better term. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree
Anyway,
with that. I think that's why people hear that hum that they can't understand or explain where it's coming from too at times. Those
oh, you're
hums
talking
are
about,
coming from underground from these different pyramids or chambers
yes.
or stargates or whatever they are, whatever's going on. Yeah.
Well, it's doing
Oh,
it on the face of
actually,
the planet too.
something I forgot to mention that I just now remembered because we're talking about that is that I saw plasma technology also, fusion and fission, and I don't even understand all of that too well, the fusion and the fission and what the difference is in any of that really. But I saw us using plasma technology to power things versus like um, oil manufacturing industry, you know, and using plasma technologies in our medical technology somehow. So, and I know somebody
I
else
use I use
also.
plasma for healing currently.
Do you
It's
explain
a
that?
it's a Rife device. He invented it in the 1930s. In 1936, he had 100% success rate at curing stage 4 cancer on a group of, it was less than 20 people, but absolutely everybody got reversed, cured. And they buried his technology,
Sure,
made fun of him. He was, busted up and broke.
of
But
course.
what little remained, a group in China had rebuilt it to his exact specifications, and they've distributed it worldwide. And I bought it, and it works.
So what is
You
I
could,
mean, what is
it's a I could go get the bulb and show it to you, but
okay.
like I had a cancer on the side of my neck, and I just
Okay.
flashed it with the plasma bulb, and the cancer just got hard and fell off.
Okay.
You
So it's
know,
it's like a type of light technology, but it's plasma light? Is that what you're
uh,
saying?
yeah, I'll go get the bulb. I'll be right back.
All right, cool. That's very interesting to me. I'm fascinated by that because I really like I can't fathom what that would mean, plasma technology, especially in a medical application. Like I'm not that smart. I don't know what that means.
Well,
I don't
it's
either.
like I talked about where I was told about the plasma, where it's the pure and clean plasma, like what David's talking about, not
Yeah,
something
yeah,
that's
it's like
all
clean
rolled
energy.
up with all this other stuff. You understand
Right.
what I'm saying? That it's the
Yeah.
pure clean.
Yeah, that's what I got from it too, that it's clean energy to use for a medical application and in industries.
Well, and
So yeah,
also
that's
some of the species
amazing.
operate their craft on three
They
different
do.
things, and one of them is plasma. I mean plasma.
That's
I didn't say it right.
plasma. That's right. That's what makes them look like a big ball of an orb instead of a physical craft
In
because they
this
use plasma technology.
in this device, the plasma is contained in the glass bulb,
I want one.
Okay.
and it puts out frequencies. You define the
You
frequency for whatever you're
it's
trying
like
to
How can we
address.
find that?
Tesla technology.
I want
The company I bought from it's called Spooky 2, Spooky, and then the number 2. It's relatively inexpensive, but we've had more than one client uh, use it successfully.
Great.
And
So is that let me
there
ask
have
you
been
about that
some,
website.
huh?
Spooky2, is it spooky2.com, .org?
Yes,
Okay.
.com.
Okay.
They sell at a minimal profit. Their goal is to make 7% profit.
Amazing.
It is. I've had some clients use the equipment and they did not get better, but I feel like it's up to the person whether or not they do really want to get better.
Yeah,
That's
I
Some,
agree.
Yep,
Thought matters.
100% agree to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mindset and energy. Mindset and energies from
They don't
within
believe
is
it.
what determines. Yeah.
yeah. For some strange reason, the problem gives them a reason. It makes them important.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Or they think they don't deserve to be healed. Sometimes that's the
That's
case
a
too.
possibility too, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
Or they don't believe they can be healed.
right.
Or
right.
they don't
That's a
want to do
major,
what they're supposed to do to get healed. That's another thing.
Yeah.
right.
It's a lot of things involved in that.
Using the portable Rife device, there was a client that we lent it to for 3 months. She had the late stage cancer, and she just wore it and did the frequencies faithfully. And at the end of the 3 months, the doctors determined that she was cancer free.
Fantastic.
And they couldn't believe
That's
what she
wonderful.
did. You just
That's
wore
Question:
this little
absolutely.
thing on your neck.
Will it help for things like dementia?
Uh, I haven't tried it on dementias. I don't have any personal experience with that.
Okay.
You can, that is one of the options.
Okay.
The other device we use is a light device where it uses light to transmit frequencies directly to the biophotons in your body. And that device has been successfully used for autism. We had a person that had an anaphylactic reaction to wheat exposure, gluten exposure. They used to uh, become a puddle of humanity falling to the floor when they got exposed to gluten. But she's been 3.5 years now without any such anaphylactic reaction. And it frustrates me that I can't get any local hospital to validate the efficacy of this process. No doctor I've encountered, no politician, no. I even tried to bribe RFK Jr. RFK Jr.'s campaign was asking me for donations to his campaign, so I said, "Fine, I'll pay $1,000 for 10 minutes of RFK's time so that I can explain this light device because it's so effective. It, speaking to the body directly is much more effective than using, means like pharmaceuticals.
I agree. And
But
would
RFK
this be that
never,
video light therapy that you shared with me?
yes, it's like that. You have a pathogen, and then you put the pathogen in, you reverse it, and you get the antigen for the pathogen.
Yeah, that's very interesting to me. Um,
Yeah,
we definitely need to make that get out there.
I know. I've
We need to
when I
find a
tried to,
way, like a GoFundMe or something to, I don't know, to get it
I
out
d-
there.
I never got through to RFK Jr. and people were afraid to use it because it wasn't authorized by
Yeah,
reputable
F
medical
like
personnel.
FDA. Yeah,
Yeah. And to go
right.
through the FDA process, what they do is have you do a 5 year test, and then they say at the end of the 5 years, oh, there's something wrong with your test methodology. You need to spend another 5 years and another 5 years just kicking the can down the
Yeah,
road.
yeah, to keep it in the
Anyway,
system and keep it from getting out to the public. And I really hope that somebody hears our show that can help bring that out to the world because
I
that's
hope
really
so.
amazing technology.
Right. I
We can
want the
also
efficacy studied.
we
Right.
can also manifest for that to come about. whether it's through
Absolutely.
someone holistic,
Mhm.
whether it's through a fund, assistance, or all of
Yeah.
the above, because
Yeah.
what David's talking about is so important. And, we've heard off and on the new medicine is energy, frequency, and
Mhm.
vibration.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And David's right on top of it right there.
Yep.
Energy, frequency, the light, it just
Yeah.
heal direct.
Yes. I love that. I love that. And I love your suggestion there too, Becky, because just like with focusing on these specific locations that could have dramatic earth changes, we should also focus on helping to get these type of medical modalities out there to the world. Focus on bringing them into the world, regardless of what path that takes. Let's just focus on manifesting it for our future, our
Yeah,
near future, not like
yeah,
20 years from now. For God's sakes, we need to be able to use it now, you know. I love that we all saw Japan. We all saw solar events happening. Several of us seen things about ET being revealed to us and other truths being revealed to us. Missy's arch leaning, I wonder if that doesn't have something to do with the pole shift, because the Mississippi and the whole New Madrid and all of that going on might have something to do with that. Um, Definitely, we need to be focused on the Golden Gate Bridge and make sure that what Jen saw happens instead of my terrible plot that I was clued in on.
Yeah.
I want to see us marching and happy and celebrating because they saved the day and this didn't go down the way that Newsom or whoever is planning for it to go. And I just am mind blown that David saw Newsom needing dig me out, because that fits perfect with what I saw, that the head of California would be the one behind this plot. So
right.
that's incredible, really incredible. I love that Becky saw DNA cosmic healing and upgrades, because I saw the cosmic energy, not just solar energy coming through that would upgrade everything, including our planet, and fully heal her and restore her to her beauty and grace. I just think we all did a really incredible job at all of this. And Becky, I can't even remember, did I interrupt you when you were talking about your feelings on how well we all did?
No, it was everything that everybody needed to say,
Okay.
and I just know that um, there's always going to be that fear mongering and all of that as the dark finds its way out the door, as far as I'm concerned. And we
Yeah.
cannot, and this is, of course, my truth, but if we start seeing a bunch of more acceleration and that this is working, we can't stop and say, okay, we did. We have to keep going, because that's when stuff can slither on back. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's a big job, and I think that we're all doing wonderfully with it on this planet, as far as the ones that are truly working for it. And again, per
Me
universal
too.
law, if it's for the highest and best of the light, does not hurt anyone or take anything away from anyone, we can have anything. We can do anything. That's
Yeah.
that's how it is across the board. Again, my truth, but
Well, I well said. Well said. Truth. I love it. Um, Angela, what
I can't
about
hear
you?
you. You
How do you
breaking up, Kelly.
feel
yes, you
about
are.
all this? And by the way, let me just say,
I
you
can't
saw
hear you.
something to do with
I can't hear you.
and military people outside of
Maybe they're
and wonder that
blocking
does
us.
with all
Yeah.
us. I saw. Can you hear me?
Like you're frozen.
Yeah.
Freaking out. Be
It
band
says, yeah, it says
happening.
bandwidth is low.
Just make sure. What about now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
How about now?
better.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
there you are.
I think it's got something to do with this Bluetooth because it did something weird last night when I was making a video too. I don't know. Can people hack a Bluetooth? An
I'm
earpiece?
sure they can.
They're
I'm
close
sure they can.
range. Yes, they can.
Yeah. So I was saying that you saw heavily armed, like military, maybe outside of a U.S. building or something, and I wonder if that wouldn't maybe have something to do with all of the arrests of the bad actors.
I don't know because I saw TikTok big, huge, and the military pointing with their weapons to the TikTok building. It kind of freaked me out. And then I went to look it up on the TikTok buildings around the world. Well, the only one that I saw look like that was the US. But I couldn't understand why. That was the only thing that I saw. It might be because if you think about it, it's one of the biggest social media platforms where everybody's on it, and that could be it.
Okay.
That's what I think. Another thing that I forgot to mention, I didn't say this because I didn't understand that. I keep seeing a lot copper crystals, copper crystals, copper, and it's a lot in here. Copper crystals, copper crystals go everywhere, and UFOs showing up in the middle of the night, many different places to communicate with people because for some reason, for a little while, it will be better to talk to people in the middle of the night in the forest. That's what I saw. So yeah, it was also the healing part that I keep hearing about it and seeing healing. Healing is gonna come from many different things, not only technology. Um, and it also get me to remember my grandmother from my father's side. I never have a chance to learn herbalism from her, but one of my cousins told me that she used to cure cancer with herbs, and she took her knowledge to the grave. My grandfather used to cure cancer with tuberculosis with herbs, and he started to get persecuted because of that back in the So, and another thing that I'm discovering a couple things here in terms of healing. Um, Unfortunately, I learned the other day that the mushroom powder that we buy is not what we think it is.
The
It's
what?
the mushroom powder is like a turkey tail, the mushrooms that actually help our body, reishi mushrooms and stuff. And that
Okay,
was
mushrooms. Yeah.
mushrooms,
Mushroom.
yeah. I also heard that word this week, but I didn't get more of it.
Yeah.
Well, when they made these powders, they don't say the truth about how they made it.
Right.
They grind it so fine because, again, we tend to be, oh, the comfort, it needs to dilute. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I had to say it.
Yeah.
I buy because mushrooms you cannot put any chemicals or any spray on them because they will die. So it's safe for you to buy it in a dehydrated form in Chinese natural pharmacies because they're big on that. China produces a lot of mushrooms, and you can grind them as much as you can. However, I grind mine, and the first time I grind that it were seven type of mushrooms. My husband said to me, this is not what we have been buying because it doesn't look a powder form. When I look it up, I found evidence the way how they grind those mushrooms, so they do nothing for you.
Right.
You better chop them.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
it is better to buy the herbs yourself, and if you're going to use
Yes.
them medicinally rather than buy the capsules that are already made. I agree.
Yes.
And also with the gold, a lot of people want to take the it's not colloidal. I forget the word, but it's a liquid gold, right?
Yes, it's a
But if
liquid
you
gold.
but if you actually look at the way that they make it, there's really not any gold even in it, you know. And you have to be
Wow.
careful how you take gold, because if it's
Uh,
not done the
oh
proper
yeah.
distilled way, the gold will actually unzip your DNA rather than heal you. And a lot of people don't realize that either. So
Wow.
you have to respect the herbs. You have to respect the minerals when you use
Mm-hmm.
them and take them. But that was one of the first modalities of healing that I actually learned, was the herbal healing modalities, because of my
Mm-hmm.
grandfather being Native American, our grandfather being Native American. And I learned a lot of that from him, because you can cure all kinds of illness and ailments with herbals and minerals. And the big thing to know is the majority of them are created from inflammation at their root. And if you know how
Mm-hmm.
to get rid of the inflammation, you can get rid of pretty much
Oh yeah.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly, 100%. And one more thing, if you have a garden or you go to a park or something, well, it might be useful for you to look what it grows on the ground, because most of the stuff that grows around us is catered from Mother Earth to cure or help us what we are having problems with.
Right.
I did that on my garden here when we moved here. We don't have anything on the ground yet. And almost every single plant that we have growing out of the blue here, it was for us to take good for something that we were suffering with.
Yep.
And
Most
that's
things
it.
that people call weeds are actually good medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And even with like honey, it's better to have honey that's made from your local area,
Yep.
because you live in that environment that honey was made in. So that honey is actually Mother Nature tailored to you because of
Mm-hmm.
the environment you live in. A lot of people don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those things that you just grow in your yard, plantain, mullein, things that people consider completely a weed, dandelion,
Yeah.
I harvest them and I make medicines with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. So there is a
And
lot coming up regarding all that.
yes, yeah, there's going to be a lot of great changes with that this year. Jen, what do you think about all of this? How do you feel about how you did and how we all did as a group?
Well, I think everybody did phenomenal. And I am proud of myself. And it kind of
You
made me
are.
cry when you said you were proud of me, because I'm just anyway. But how many people said or got that there would be people leaving? It was
Me.
at least two.
Raise a hands.
Yes.
Everybody
Okay.
that saw people leaving.
Yeah,
Okay.
lots.
I wonder if if the people who are not the star seeds, not the volunteers, if they're the ones that are didn't decide to be here for this, if they're the ones that are going to be leaving. And I wonder, because the Q drops would say the end won't be for everyone, and everyone knows I recently lost a friend, and she's got me thinking. And then on a funnier note, um, I know somebody, I think it was you, Angela, who said to pay attention to your dreams. Well, a couple days ago, this is hilarious. My mom had a dream that she went on vacation with Gavin Newsom and it was horrible. And I just wanted to share that because that's fucking funny. I don't care.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't wait till your mom sees this.
I
Wow.
my ass off.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
Actually,
Yeah.
regarding the dreams, I just showed it up in a short form for the show, but I'm gonna make a post about dreams because it's a lot
Yes.
that I'm getting about
Yeah.
dreams. And I'm getting dreams myself. Like sometimes,
Yes.
okay,
Everybody is
yeah,
getting these strange dreams. And
it's
like
strange
Missy,
dreams.
I keep telling Missy, document it. I keep telling Becky,
Yes.
document it. Keep a journal in it because it's going to be pertinent. And I love, Jen, that your mother had that connection because that's the beauty of what we're doing. The more
Mhm.
open you become, you and you and you and you and you,
Mhm.
the more we open, the more that ripples out and affects
Yes.
other people in our
Mhm.
own 6 degrees
Yes.
and
It
opens
does.
them. And
Yes,
then
it
they
does.
start to open and it affects people in their 6 degrees. And so you see that ripple just keeps going and
Mhm.
going and going until the whole world is blanketed
Mhm.
with our scalar wave ripple that has awakened the masses. And
Yep.
to answer your question, Jen, it doesn't matter if they volunteered to be here or not. That's not the catalyst for if they stay or go.
Mhm.
The catalyst will be the ones who, like you said, the Q post. It's not for everyone. The ones that absolutely don't want to see this, accept it, feel
Mhm.
it, embrace it in any way, shape, or form, those will probably be the ones that remain at that lower vibration that
Mhm.
won't be able to um, exist in this new earthly vibration because the planet's vibration is rising.
Yeah.
But I do gonna add to what you ask. Um, the rest of the souls that they're leaving because they're gonna help the planet. This is what I saw. I actually saw them in a spirit form helping their families to awaken.
Yes, that's right. Because physically they're not going to be able to handle it
Yes.
here. But once they leave
Mm-hmm.
this body, then they're going to see
Mm-hmm.
it from a bigger picture and then they'll be able to help. You're
Mm-hmm.
right.
100%.
Absolutely right. And
That's
some
what I
people
saw.
are just not going to be physically able
Mm-hmm.
to move forward because
Mm-hmm.
their physical body isn't strong enough to move them
Mm-hmm.
forward.
And
And
also
so
another thing is that if you give it a thought, if you are somebody who your mind is not ready to process all of this, and you have a loved one that passed away, and it come to you in a dream or even in a vision and say, "Hey, you know what? You gotta put attention to this and that." I'm almost 95% sure you're going to do something about it because
mhm,
you trust that person, you love the person. So there we go again, it's love. The love
right.
connection is gonna help with all of these. That's what I felt.
Yep. You're right.
So
Kelly,
maybe that's why my friend passed away because he was one of us. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Maybe he's so contracted to help his family from
Mm.
the other side. And
he
I'm
can,
thinking next week we're gonna channel him, Kelly. I'm gonna book a session with you.
Okay, honey.
well, Kelly and Jen and everybody, and I know Jen knows this, that I lost a friend shortly after Jen lost hers, which I was devastated for.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that his mission here was complete and he went on, but I see him all the time in my dreams and in astral, and he guides me and he talks to me. So his work isn't done. So it's like what Angela just said, and
Yeah.
Kelly just said, and Jen just said, and everybody just said that
Mhm.
perhaps some of these are going because, and that's my understanding. Someone that channeled Dolores Cannon said that she got to where she could do more, she could make more of a difference on the other side than
Mm-hmm.
here. She had finished what she really needed to do here, and even
Yeah.
though, and then when she transited that she was able to make even more of an impact. That's
Mm-hmm.
where I'm feeling on that, as far as that's what kind of gives me comfort
Which is
because
beautiful.
Kelly knows how devastated I was, and Jen, I did that with Kelly a couple of weeks ago or a week ago,
About
and
a week ago.
I got great comfort for it, and I was able to understand more things than just we, you just left, you just
She's
left.
channeled a few of my friends and a couple of pets, so I know it's gonna be great.
Well, it was glorious. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
And Becky, don't forget, he's still physically there in your house.
Mhm.
I know. I know.
He was literally standing right behind her. I'm like, he's not even here talking to me this way. He's over there talking. He's at your house.
Still there.
Well, and
Yeah,
to the
much like my brother.
revelations, the revelations. I'm sorry, Kelly. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Um, no, what did you just say?
I said, much like my brother, your friend and
Yes.
Jen's friend had done his limit. He had done his limit he could do here. And I was devastated. My brother was my best friend. I was absolutely devastated. Didn't see that shit coming at all. And well, not until about 3 days before. And he's still here with us. He's still guiding me. He's still making sure that I succeed in fulfilling my mission and shining my bright light out there to the world. He works through my clients, he works through my friends, he works through my electronics, and it's always very telling that it's him doing it. And Missy can vouch for this. I mean, he shows up left, right, and center to help me and guide me, just like your friends that you were devastated over are now doing from the other side, and David's wife is doing from the other side, because they've exceeded their limit of what they could do here
Mhm.
in the physical, and
Mhm.
they can do so much more without a body. Oh my gosh, so much more.
Right. And I am being taught or not advised, but shown things that will can't you see now that and it hits on point to where yes we could have done that here on the earthly realm, but he's able to do it in a much bigger way where he is.
Much bigger.
And so I work still with grief, but I work hard to really accept that and know that it's awesome. So,
Yeah.
you know,
And I have to just say that Missy's husband said for me to remind everybody that he too is doing his great work from the other side. Oh Lord. He's a character. So yes, Steve, props to you. You're doing your part too, even though he annoys us more than anything. No, I'm just teasing. I'm teasing. Missy, what are your thoughts on how this all played out today?
It's always amazing. I just love how we all come together. Like, it's so weird to be a part of it and the growth. I'm just very thankful. And I think this year is going to bring some amazing things. So we shouldn't focus on all the negativity because we can change that. And I don't know. I look forward to this year and to the things that are going to happen. I'm looking forward to truths being revealed and just a better year than we've had in a while. That's my 2 cents.
Looking forward to that too.
well,
Yeah,
Missy,
yeah,
100%.
yeah,
it's proving that we are part of each other, that we're not separate.
No, we're not.
yeah,
That just goes to prove it. Every second of every day, what you just said, it's proving that.
yeah.
So anyway,
It
We're
was a
all connected. It's not just a term, collective consciousness. We really are all connected through quantum entanglement. And the more we work together, the more we speak to each other, the more we interact, the stronger those connections and bonds become. And then we become these really great amplifiers for each other. And there are no limits in any of that. There's no limits. I'm really stoked for our future this year and beyond. And I feel like this year is going to really go a lot faster than even last year did. So buckle up, Buttercup, because it's going to be a ride. David, what are your thoughts on all this?
I'm pleased that such diverse people had so similar observations. It goes to the credibility of everything. I appreciate everybody being here, and uh, my wife taught me a lot, but I feel like I'm still a rookie at this. So it is fun learning.
It is fun learning, and I think you're more than just an amateur rookie like you look at yourself. And I want you to know that's perfectly normal that every one of these other people here looked at themselves the same way until about week 3. So by next
Oh,
week,
okay.
by next week, you should be looking at yourself a little more bravely, you know?
Okay. Well, I'm transitioning from the hoity-toity director of management information systems, where you are required to think logically all the time and to just go with the woo-woo, go
Right?
with the flow.
Be that free spirit and fly by the seat of your pants with whatever comes to you.
Right. And have a fun ride.
Yes. Because that's what matters. That's what matters, that we enjoy that we're doing it. When it becomes something that's not fulfilling and enjoying anymore, we need to change gears.
Yeah,
Find something that brings you joy. Joy is so important. Laughter truly is the best medicine for everything.
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. I want to thank every one of you for being here, and I want to thank everyone for viewing us and tuning in. We love all of you. We look forward to a great 2026 together. And to remember, just because some things happen that look scary doesn't mean we should run and hide in fear. We stand strong in our faith, and we know that we have the power and the divinity within us to shield, protect, and heal all that happens. So until we see you again, be well and be blessed in love and light.
Thank you, Kelly.
Bye.
Bye bye.